In The Accountant 2, a woman goes through a windshield and wakes up a chess champion and a self-taught assassin. The movie calls it acquired Savant syndrome. That condition is real. The assassin part is the screenwriters. And 5 quick checks, not diagnoses, may reveal what your own brain has been quietly doing this whole time. Keep score. First, let's find where the science stops and the screenwriters take over. Start with Jason Padgett. One night, he walked out of a karaoke bar. 2 men attacked him and kicked him in the head. Before that, he had dropped out of college and sold futons. No interest in mathematics. No talent for it. Afterward, he said geometry appeared everywhere. Water from a tap arrived as separate lines. Light bent into structure. He began drawing fractals by hand. In brain scans, formulas that triggered those images produced stronger activity across parts of his left temporal, parietal, and frontal cortex. The researchers called the findings preliminary. He became the first documented case of acquired savant skills with mathematical synesthesia following a head injury. And immediately, before anyone gets ideas, this is not a strategy. The overwhelming majority of head injuries take things and give nothing back. Derek Amato hit his head diving into a shallow pool, then sat at a piano he had never played and played for hours. He also lost about 35% of his hearing. Brain injuries do not give gifts. They send invoices, and they do not ask first. One hypothesis is that an injury may release or reorganize abilities rather than install them. Hypothesis, not verdict. Which raises an uncomfortable question about the equipment you're using to watch this video. 5 quick checks. Keep score. Check 1. Close your eyes and picture an apple. Now be honest. Did you see an actual image with color and shape? Or did you just know what an apple looks like? Somewhere between 1 and 4 people in 100 report little or no voluntary visual imagery, depending on how strictly researchers measure it. It's called aphantasia. They can describe an apple, recognize one, and draw one. They just do not summon a picture in the mind. Many discover this as adults during a conversation like this, when they realize everyone else was never speaking figuratively. Check 2. Where is March? Not what is March. Where? Did an answer appear somewhere around you? Left, right, above, behind? Do the months sit in a line, a loop, or a lopsided oval that has occupied the same invisible address for years? That can be sequence space synesthesia. Your brain filed time in a room. The question alone cannot diagnose it. But if the layout is automatic, specific, and stubbornly consistent, you may want to try a proper consistency test. Check 3. Black coffee, tonic water, grapefruit, raw broccoli. Not I'm a bit picky, genuinely, aggressively bitter. Roughly 1 in 4 people are classified as super tasters. Their mouths may be receiving a stronger signal than everyone else's. Disliking broccoli is not a laboratory test. It is a clue, and possibly an apology owed by several adults from your childhood. Check 4. What color is the number 7? If your answer is 7 does not have a color, congratulations. You're typical, and this one is not yours. If the answer was immediate, specific, and you are mildly irritated that I asked as though it were negotiable, that can be grapheme color synesthesia. Roughly 1 person in 100 reports stable color associations for letters or numbers. The important word is stable. Researchers can retest people years later, and the 7s tend not to redecorate. Check 5. Have you ever recognized someone from one meeting years ago, said so out loud, and then spent the next minute apologizing for being unsettling? That is not enough to call yourself a super recognizer. Proper face memory tests exist, but around 1 or 2 people in 100 perform at the extreme top end, and police forces deliberately recruit them. Your reward is remembering the face. Their reward is wondering why you remember the face. Hold your score.
Still holding your number? Good. We'll come back to it. Because now we reach a claim much stranger than anything in the film.
no injury, no developmental condition. An ability simply appears. In 2021, Daryl Treffert and Hunter Reese published a case series describing 11 self-referred adults with no reported brain injury or developmental condition. They said a new ability appeared suddenly, along with an obsessive need to practice it. One woman, 43, reported waking in the middle of the night with an urge to draw despite no previous interest in art. She later drew for hours a day. Important caveat: these were self-reported cases collected through an online survey, not 11 brains caught transforming in a laboratory. The pattern is intriguing. The cause is unknown. Nobody knows is not coyness here. It is the honest answer. If that happened to you, the unsettling part would not be the skill. It would be wondering whether it appeared overnight or had been waiting somewhere you could not reach. Now, before your score comes back, one famous superpower needs to lose a point. You may have heard that some women can see 100 million colors because they carry the genetics for a fourth color receptor. The genetic setup is real. The 100 million is not a measurement. It is arithmetic somebody did on a napkin. Plenty of women may carry the relevant receptor variation. Almost none have been shown to use a fourth channel functionally. After roughly 2 decades of searching, one research program confirmed a single compelling case. Real genetics, mostly imaginary superpower. Score nothing. Now memory, and this is the mirror image of the last video. Jill Price remembers dates from her adult life with extraordinary autobiographical detail. Give her a date, and she can often give you the events around it. Fewer than 100 people worldwide have been identified with highly superior autobiographical memory. When her case became public, more than 200 people contacted the researchers. Only a handful passed their testing. And before you file this under want, Price described the experience as non-stop, uncontrollable, and exhausting. She does not get to put every bad day down. Perfect memory sounds less like a filing cabinet and more like a roommate who never stops talking. Think of the worst day you can remember. Now imagine every detail returning without permission, with the emotional volume still turned up. Better memory is not automatically a better life. Still holding your number? Good. Back to the windshield. So what counts as savant skill in the first place? The list is surprisingly narrow. Music, visual art, calendar calculation, mathematics, and spatial or mechanical skill, usually with exceptional memory inside that domain. That is why chess in the film is plausible. Mathematical and spatial skill are on the list. Hand-to-hand combat is not. Nobody has ever acquired kung fu from a windshield. And savant is not another word for autism. About half of reported savants are autistic, but most autistic people are not savants. Estimates run from roughly 1 in 10 to 3 in 10, partly because savant syndrome has no single formal diagnostic test. Even Kim Peek, the man who inspired Rain Man, probably was not autistic at all. The leading model is often summarized as 3 words: recruit, rewire, release. After injury, intact brain tissue may be recruited. Connections may reorganize. Abilities that were previously suppressed or inaccessible may become easier to express. That is a model, not a complete explanation. Treffert suspected that some version of these capacities might sit latently in many brains, normally outvoted by other systems. Might. The evidence does not say that everyone is a hidden concert pianist or that injury reveals your secret upgrade. It says human abilities can be narrow, uneven, and organized in ways we still do not fully understand. A prodigy develops an extraordinary skill unusually early. A savant has one extraordinary island of ability inside a markedly uneven cognitive or neurological profile. Hollywood files both under magic. Biology does not. So, out of 5, the apple, March, the bitterness, the 7, the faces. What did you score? Put the number in the comments. I especially want the 0s and the 5s. And if you scored 5, I have questions. Until then, Take care of your beautifully broken design. It's the only one you'll ever get. Now go look at something ordinary like it's strange. Weird, right?